There's the audience. Okay, today we will be discussing improving the internship training program for Vintage Financial Group. Over 75% of American college students participate in internship at some point in time, which is why it's important to have detail-oriented training. Specifically for Vintage Financial Group, the current training program, it lacks consistency and attention to detail. So improving the training program would allow for both of those things. In addition, it would improve overall job performance. The suggestions I will make today will allow your interns to develop more leadership skills, and will also give you more insight on your future employees' morale and work ethic. So today we will discuss 4 different methods for improving internship training. The first of these is establishing different levels of leadership within the internship program. The second is introducing a program such as reverse mentoring. The third is using the predictive indexes that are already in place to improve training within the actual interns. And the last suggestion I will make is adding online training to offer more consistency. So the first suggestion is introducing leadership levels. Within Vintage Financial Group, their interns, there is already a system of stratification or hierarchy. The interns that have been present the longest typically have the most responsibilities and make the decisions for the interns that have been there for less time. Introducing leadership levels will allow supervisors and bosses to give credit to interns that go above and beyond, which will allow them to produce more and better work. Introducing leadership levels will produce leaders within your organization. It will allow for you to determine which of your interns could be potential leaders later on as a full-time employee. And additionally, will then allow you to develop future roles with your interns in your company. Reverse mentoring is a mentor program that combines junior and senior members of your organization. So for instance, an intern and a financial advisor would meet probably once a month. And in reverse mentoring, these sessions are led by the junior members, so the intern would set the schedule for the meetings. There are benefits to both the junior and senior members. Mainly for junior members, it produces more leadership skills and also allows your junior members to see how the company works from within, from a growth perspective. For your senior members, it will produce a new perspective and can also allow for new ideas that they may not have originally thought of, as the junior members typically are members of different generations that think in different ways. And lastly, the reverse mentoring program creates qualified employees for your future. What I mean by this is the more your employees meet and the more your junior members meet with senior members, the more aware they are of how the company works and how it functions, and allows your senior members to see potential in junior members as future employees. The predictive indexes that Vintage Financial Group currently uses are not really applied in the way that they should be. This over here is an example of what is produced from a Vintage Financial Group predictive index. For example, this particular employee may struggle with taking action based solely on facts, and Vintage Financial Group can use the information provided here to find the best position for their employee. So since it's currently in use, we just need to modify how it is used. Predictive indexes are currently given to employees after they are already hired. It should be given during the employment and hiring process. Additionally, the indexes after your employees have been hired should be given to the employees that are training them so that they know how to help train them. For instance, specifically here, this says management may increase their effectiveness by helping them work with others that are less skilled with numbers. So this employee specifically would do well helping others improve their skill set. Another suggestion for improving the internship program would be online training. Online training is currently typically used by larger firms, and as Vintage Financial Group grows, this is an excellent option for them. When applied correctly, it can be extremely beneficial. Online training allows for consistency in each person's training, whereas currently the system does not have any means of consistency. Each person will train at their own pace. This also allows for autonomy, which is extremely important with Vintage Financial Group. Each employee must be able to work on their own at their own pace. It's part of the job descriptions. So it's important to see how your employees will work with this autonomy, and you can gauge that based on the online training. There are some pros and cons to online training. The pros being that it's consistent, each employee receives the same training. It allows for extensive knowledge, they move at their own pace. However, there are some cons as well. Online training programs can be very expensive to develop. They are, again, very consistent, which means that if an employee has specific questions as they're going through, they have to pause the training and find a supervisor to ask these questions to. So there are different pros and cons to this training program. For recommendations for Vintage Financial Group, I would recommend that immediately we implement using predictive indexes in the hiring process, as well as providing the results of these hiring process to the current interns that will be training future interns. Within 2 to 4 months, I would suggest implementing the reverse mentoring program. This can be a little bit more complicated as you have to identify which employees would be best together in the mentoring program. And as employees are hired, after about 6 months to a year of being with Vintage Financial Group, they should be implemented into the reverse mentoring program. Lastly, within 6 months to maybe a year, Vintage Financial Group should focus on adding an online training program, especially for their interns, although this is a more expensive option and might take a little bit more time for development, which is why it's 6 months to a year. This is the option for questions. My audience has no questions. Okay. Crap. Oh, here are my references. Thank you.